The grand chamber of the Galactic Council was alive with color and movement. Hundreds of alien leaders filled the curved tiers, their robes and armor glinting under the silver lights. The air was thick with the scent of strange spices, and the faint hum of translator drones dotted the very center. Standing on the polished black platform was Earth's ambassador. A tall woman in a dark navy suit. Her posture was steady, her gaze sharp. Her name was Ambassador Lena Voss, and she had traveled halfway across the galaxy for this meeting. She tapped the small console before her. A holographic display bloomed. Into the air 7 sleek, dark silhouettes appeared, rotating slowly above her head. "Members of the Council," she began, her voice calm, measured. "I present to you Earth's new defense initiative. 7 prototype warships, built in secrecy, designed for unmatched speed, stealth, and firepower." Her words echoed for a moment in the great chamber. Then, like the spark of a match, the laughter began. A ripple of amusement spread through the tiers. Some aliens chuckled softly, others laughed openly. A group of scaled diplomats whispered among themselves, their tails twitching in mock sympathy. From the highest tier, a massive figure rose. General Zorvak of the Karzine Empire, his golden armor gleaming, his 4 eyes narrowing in contempt. 7 ships, his voice boomed, carried by the chamber's amplifiers. "We build 7 ships before breakfast. In one day, our shipyards produce fleets that could crush your entire planet." More laughter followed. The translator drones rendered it into every language, making sure the insult was understood by all. Ambassador Voss did not respond. She didn't flinch. Her expression remained perfectly still, her eyes locked on Zorvak as if weighing his words, and dismissing them without a thought. The laughter died down, replaced by murmurs. Some members of the council exchanged glances. Earth's representative wasn't protesting, wasn't defending herself. Then, very slowly, Voss reached down to the small device clipped inside her jacket. Her fingers brushed the smooth surface, found the hidden button, and pressed it twice. A faint vibration confirmed the signal had been sent. "Earth will continue to prepare," she said softly. "That is all." Without waiting for further comment, she turned and walked from the central platform. The council murmured again, some mocking her retreat, others frowning with unease. The camera follows her as she leaves the chamber, the laughter of alien leaders echoing faintly behind her. She doesn't look back. Cut to Earth's orbit, classified shipyard facility above the blue curve of Earth. Hidden inside a cloaking field, floated orbital dry dock Theta 7. It was vast, an industrial skeleton of steel and light, big enough to cradle a small city. Inside its armored shell, a crew of engineers worked in silence. A low alarm chimed, and every head turned toward the central control room. The chief engineer, an older man with silver hair, read the incoming message. His eyes widened slightly. "We have received a signal," he said quietly. "Code Black. Immediate activation." The crew moved at once, each person sliding into position at their stations. Massive cranes shifted overhead, pulling aside layers of heavy protective tarp. The thing beneath it was revealed. The Black Lance. It was unlike any warship the galaxy had ever seen. Its hull was not painted, but absorbed light, a deep black that seemed to swallow the air around it. Its surface was smooth, without the usual clutter of visible weapons or engines. It looked alive. Rows of dormant sensor eyes lined its sides. Along the keel, faint patterns pulsed with red light, like the heartbeat of some great beast awakening from slumber. Inside the ship's dark command deck, no crew was present. The ship's systems were cold, but deep in its core, a single AI core came online. Its sensors stretched outward, mapping the shipyard, registering power levels, scanning every component as if testing its own body after a long sleep. In the command interface, A single line of glowing text appeared. Signal received. Ambassador VOSS code black full activation. There was a moment of silence. The kind of stillness before a storm got then, from speakers that had been silent for years. A low, synthetic voice spoke. It was not loud. It didn't need to be. Activation confirmed. The sound carried through the control decks, over the comm lines, into the hearts of every engineer and officer present. They froze for a second, as if they knew the meaning behind those two words. The Black Lance was awake. Outside, the ship's cloaking field began to shimmer. Its massive hull gleamed for just a heartbeat before the field swallowed it again, hiding it from sight. Somewhere in the darkness beyond Earth's orbit, plans were already in motion. Ambassador Voss was still walking through the quiet corridors of the Galactic Council building. She didn't smile, but her eyes carried something sharper than victory certainty. Because she knew the Council's laughter would not last long. Far away, the galaxy had just gained a new predator, and it had no patience for mockery. The Galactic Empire believed the battle was over. Their navy had been shattered, their pride burned in the void. But the truth was, they had only seen a fraction of Earth's power. Commander Kellis of the Empire's outer fleet sat in the dim light of his command deck, staring at the holographic battle logs. His claws tapped nervously on the console. The enemy warship thee. One that had torn through their armada had vanished. No engine trails. No heat signatures. No wreckage dot. It was as if the humans had never been there dot yet. The destruction was real. Imperial shipyards reported over 30 capital-class warships lost. Entire sectors were now without defenses. The Emperor's message was clear: find them and end them. Callis assembled a team of the Empire's most skilled hunters. Stealth frigates, interceptor squadrons, elite tracking AI. They swept through the outer rim, scanning for even the smallest hint of human presence. But the humans didn't run. They hunted. The first sign came from Station Goron 5, a mining outpost, far from any war front. The station's last transmission was a short, distorted scream, followed by static. Imperial rescue teams found the place abandoned, power cores drained, airlocks sealed from the outside. On every wall, carved deep into the metal, was the same message in human script: we are not finished. Kellis felt a cold knot in his stomach. This was no random attack. The humans were sending a message. One station at a time, rumors began spreading among the lower ranks of the Imperial Navy. Soldiers whispered about an invisible fleet black. Ships that moved without light or sound, striking from nowhere. Some claimed they saw ghostly shapes passing through the stars, watching silently before vanishing. And then, the Empire's deep space listening posts began picking up strange signals. Not in the Empire's codes, not in any known alien language. Slow, rhythmic bursts, almost like a heartbeat. Kellis ordered the signals traced. Every attempt failed. The origin kept shifting, as if the source itself was moving through hyperspace in impossible patterns. One night cycle, Khalis sat alone in the war room, replaying the first attack in his mind. He froze when the holofeed caught something he had missed before a brief, flickering silhouette behind the human warship. Bigger, darker, almost like another ship. That was the warship they fought, just a decoy? Then came the Empire's worst day since the war began. 3 of their fleet assembly worlds went dark within an hour. Planetary defense shields were deactivated from the inside. Docked ships were destroyed before they could even power up. Surveillance drones caught one final glimpse before going offline. A sleek, black vessel cutting through their defenses like fire through paper. The ship bore no markings, no identification. Only a symbol painted in blood red along its hull. Single human handprint. For the first time in his career, Commander Kellis felt fear. This was no longer a war between fleets. It was a hunt. And the Empire was the prey. The Galactic Empire thought they had seen the last of the human ship. They were wrong. The Imperial Fleet Command sat inside their Grand War Hall, a massive chamber lined with glowing banners and shifting star maps. Dozens of alien admirals studied the moving dots on the holographic displays, their navy's positions, blockades, and patrol lines. One particular dot, small, almost insignificant, sat on the edge of their chart. It was marked only as unknown warship, human origin. "Has this ship not been destroyed?" snarled Admiral Vothran, his mandibles clicking in frustration. "It vanishes from our scans," replied a nervous officer. "Every time we move to intercept, it disappears again, as if it knows our patrol routes in advance." The aliens had the largest fleet in the galaxy, hundreds of warships, each more powerful than the last. Yet this single human vessel moved through their territory like a shadow, leaving no trace except wreckage in its wake. In the deep black of space, far from any star, the human warship drifted quietly. Its name glowed faintly on the side, EHS, Retribution. Inside, Captain Mara Elian stood before her crew, pointing at the glowing map on her own display. "They think they're hunting us," she said, voice calm but sharp. "But they're sailing into our net." The plan was simple and deadly. The Retribution's stealth drives had been tested only in simulations before the war, but now they had become the humans' most dangerous weapon. The ship could hide in gravitational shadows, slip between patrol scans, and appear exactly where the enemy least expected. "They believe humans are slow to adapt," Mara continued. "They think our ship is outdated. Let's make them keep thinking that, right up until we rip their heart out." Meanwhile, deep inside an asteroid field near the Denkara system, an Imperial task force was moving to surround the Retribution. They thought the humans were trapped, but the humans had been here first. As the alien ships entered the dense field, strange signals began bouncing through the rocks, echoes, false readings, phantom sensor pings. The aliens' navigation computers began to glitch. What looked like empty space was suddenly filled with shifting images of warships. Panic spread among the alien captains. Multiple contacts. 15? No, 30 human ships inbound. "There can't be that many." Another protested, but there weren't 30 ships. There was only one. The Retribution darted out from the shadow of a spinning asteroid, its railguns already charged. In one blinding strike, it tore the lead destroyer in half. The wreckage floated silently as the human ship vanished into the shadows again. In the Imperial Command Hall, Admiral Vothran slammed his claws onto the table. "Enough games. Bring the entire sector fleet down on that ship." But Captain Mara Elian only smiled from her darkened bridge. "Let them come," she whispered. "We'll be ready." Because this wasn't just survival anymore. This was a hunt. The alien fleet commander, Thalrix, stared at the tactical map with disbelief. Moments ago, his sensors had been alive with readings, ships moving, weapons charging, energy spikes lighting up every sector. Now, nothing. Not a single human signature remained on the scanners. His crew scrambled at their stations, their voices trembling. "Sir, they were here. Dozens of ships, hundreds of fighters gone in less than a minute. They can't have gone to F2L. Our gravity net is still active. Then where did they go?" Thalrix's claws tapped the console, a slow, deliberate sound. This wasn't just a retreat. This was something else. Something calculated. Something wrong. A junior officer glanced up from her sensor readout. "Commander, atmospheric disturbances detected over 3 continents on the human world. The clouds are splitting like something is rising from the surface." Thalrix froze. That wasn't possible. Humans had no surface-to-orbit warships capable of stealth deployment. Their tech was outdated, their industrial capacity laughable. And yet, on the main display, massive heat signatures appeared across Earth's surface. First one, then 5, then hundreds. Each one climbing into orbit without leaving a single exhaust trail. No engine roar, no thruster burn, just silent, cold shapes sliding upward through the atmosphere like shadows. Breaking free from the planet below. The comm officer's voice was tight. "Sir, I think they've been hiding them underground, deep." Hiding what? Thalarex wondered, until the first of them broke through the cloud layer. The alien crew fell silent. It was black. Not the sleek, polished black of Imperial warships. No, this was a color so dark it seemed to swallow light, like it drank the stars themselves. The ship's shape was jagged, uneven, almost predatory. And then, it wasn't alone. They came in swarms, wings of them, each moving with impossible coordination. No formation markers, no transponder codes. Just the silent, slow drift of a predator that knows its prey cannot escape. Thalarex's second-in-command whispered, "What are those?" No one answered, because then, without a single warning, the human ships vanished again. They didn't jump. They didn't accelerate. One moment they were there, the next, gone. And then the screaming started not over comms, but from one of the other alien fleets in orbit on the far side of the planet. The tactical map flared red. Ships burning, hulls splitting. The human fleet had reappeared inside the formation, as if space itself had bent to let them in. The attack lasted 17 seconds. When it was over, an entire wing of the alien fleet was gone. Thalarex realized something horrifying. The humans weren't fighting for survival anymore. They were hunting. The silence in the Galactic Council chamber was absolute, broken only by the faint hum of the suspended holoscreens. Every alien delegate stared at the real-time feed, a human fleet positioned just beyond the border systems, their ships drifting, in perfect formation, not advancing, not retreating, just waiting. Counselor Vresh of the Yatarai flicked his forked tongue nervously. "They're taunting us," he whispered. Admiral Sarek narrowed his eyes. "No, they're saying something. Look at the pattern of their positions." The holomap rotated, revealing the human ships forming a strange spiral shape, one that matched an ancient Terran symbol long forgotten by the galaxy. A single human transmission followed. "We are still holding back." Panic rippled through the delegates. Even the Krell Warburn warriors, who had never feared any species, shifted uneasily. Across the stars, alien intelligence networks scrambled, searching for meaning. The humans were still silent, but every move they made was deliberate. Supply lines shifted. Civilian traffic vanished from certain sectors. And most worrying of all, hundreds of small, unidentified objects appeared across multiple systems unarmed. But cloaked, Sarek watched the footage in growing dread. "This isn't preparation for war," he murmured. "This is them, setting the stage." Somewhere deep in human-controlled space, a single ship waited at the heart of the spiral. It carried no insignia, no identification, only the hum of power building inside it. And when it finally moved, the galaxy would never be the same. The galaxy had been loud for so long, full of fleets clashing, propaganda broadcasts and political threats echoing across the void. Now, there was only silence. The starfields once dominated by the Grand Alliance's armadas were empty. Where their banners once flew, only drifting wreckage remained. Admiral Caravale stood on the command deck of the Resolute Dawn, Earth's flagship. Her eyes lingered on the tactical display. The enemy's last stronghold, once a fortress of impossible scale, was now cold and lifeless. No one had expected this ending. Not even her. Around her, the crew worked quietly. Their voices were low, almost respectful, as if they were standing in a cathedral. The war was over. but it didn't feel like victory. It felt like standing at the edge of a cliff, staring into an ocean of darkness. Commander Reyes approached, his boots silent against the polished deck. "Final sweep complete," he reported. "No survivors. Not in the fleets, not on the stations." They didn't retreat. They simply vanished. Kara didn't look at him. Vanished, or something made them vanish. Reyes hesitated. "You think it wasn't us?" She finally turned, her gaze hard. "We crippled them, yes. We struck fear into every system they held. But this," she motioned toward the empty star map, "this feels different. Like something else took the last step." A faint pulse sounded from the communications console. The officer on duty frowned and gestured Kara over. "It's not Alliance encryption. And it's coming from inside their dead stronghold. Kara's." Blood ran cold. The last report had confirmed no life signs there. Patch it through. The main holoscreen flickered, static crawling across it, before resolving into an image. It wasn't an alien. It wasn't human. It was a shape vaguely humanoid, but carved from light and shadow, as if reality itself was trying to understand what it was seeing. Its voice was calm, without accent or tone. "We have observed your war." The crew froze. "We did not interfere until now. You were efficient. You were determined. But your conflict disturbed balances that are older than your stars." Reyes leaned closer to Kara, whispering, "What is that?" Kara didn't answer. She could barely breathe. "The ones you fought," the being continued, "were warned. They did not listen. You have inherited their silence. Do not waste it." And then, just as suddenly, the image vanished. The signal went dead. The crew stared at each other in stunned disbelief. Reyes was the first to speak. "Admiral, was that a threat?" Kara's lips pressed into a thin line. "No, it was a reminder. We may have won this war, but we're not the only ones watching the stars." Outside, the wreckage of the greatest armada the galaxy had ever seen drifted in perfect stillness, illuminated only by the faint light of a distant sun. The resolute Dawn turned slowly, its engines carrying it away from the graveyard. Somewhere, far beyond their sensors, something else was moving something. Ancient, patient, and now very aware of humanity. The silence would not last forever.